could we see our third 4-0 of the day? And I wouldn't have pegged it as being Angry Titans. I've got no words to describe what has happened today to kick things off in Super Week.
Well, it's like Happy Cool, sorry, not Happy Choke. He actually said on Twitter just a second ago, today is the day of Choke. We don't know what's going on. It's unprecedented. Bit of a weird one, but like Sam put it nicely, it's a great start to Super Week. These are the kind of games we all live for, where upsets happen, players shine in ways we've never seen them shine before. And while it makes for some very exciting series, I'm really curious to see if Gigantti, who again I pegged as my final bastion of hope, are going to fall. And it's going to wind up today with the 3 teams we thought would walk away the victors, all picking up 0-4 losses.
Well, Angry Titans, they're yet to win a series in Contenders. I believe they're the only team not to do so at the moment from Group A. If they win this map, they get their first series win.
It was so close every time, let's not
so
forget
close. They
as well.
took the 5 games in both of their previous matches, but apparently they just cannot for the life of them play Oasis. So hopefully they don't force out the tiebreaker because they get the 3rd map win here on Hanamura, and then they don't have to worry about that. They just play for pride and go for the 4-0 to keep it consistent throughout the day on that final map, which could be Junkertown or Dorado.
Gigantti, the potential dream breakers here. Their only aim is to get to Oasis. That's the way it feels at this point. They get to Oasis, they'll be pretty confident. However, as much as I'd love to see that happen, Angry Titans looking very good. If it does go there, to be honest with you, one thing I'm very worried about is Erky's Pharah. Gigantti have yet to find an answer to it time and time again. He's being given free reign on the tanks, on the supports, on pretty much whoever he wants. I think he's maybe died 3 times on the Pharah in total. It doesn't feel like he's gone down very often. The only times when it's really happened is when RCK has got in his face. That's about it.
Yeah, and you need to have more than that. For a team that's supposedly planned for Erky, we're not really seeing the fruits of their planning, shall we say.
Very much so. So let's see how they can do on this first push. Then Gigantti have got to step up. They've got to show us that team we saw in week 1 and 2.
The Discord Orb onto the D.Va already. They're going to wrap around the house. We see Gigantti do this religiously. That's a huge biotic grenade onto them. That could be the big difference maker in this first engagement. And they're taking a much longer detail than what they're used to, because Lolsish and Elibo, they've taken down members of their team. Davin's answered onto Luddy, but this isn't the coordinated death ball that wraps around the back of points on double capture point maps or assault maps.
Yeah, Hollywood, we saw them do it very, very well previously. Unfortunately, not holding on to too much of that. Great fight coming out of Titans though. Look at Onigod, got his ultimate available off the back of that one fight. Doing great work so far, and his Tracer today has been sublime.
Well, now they're going to try and hold this back. Angry Titans being a little bit patient with theirs. Lolsish so close to going down there, needs to pop a bubble, get some healing from somewhere. I don't know where his supports are. I think they're still recovering from the spawn room, and they'll get chased down by RCK. Erky has taken out Alex Cloudy himself. Here's the coalescence from Team Gigantti to keep them all alive. They got 1/3 of the point already, and they're very much in control of it. So, nice resistance from Angry Titans, but it's not been enough to close it out just yet.
Looking a bit better then. Admittedly more off a stall than anything else, where Lolsish didn't have his supports nearby, brought him down, turns it into a 5 versus 6. And first point, it's always a little bit easy in the second. It's more of a kind of final hold. Not sure why Luddy wants to stall onto the point there. More of a stagger for a few seconds. If you can get it, unfortunately not going to last long. Now they need to be very careful of a last second rush. And nice try, Davin. Unfortunately, you're not going to make that.
That's a bit unfortunate. It's almost unfortunate as having a frontline Ana when you're trying to run a defense. So questionable moves by Luddy, but I suppose if you know you've lost it, you've got to try and do something. But 6 minutes 20 in the time back for Team Gigantti. Everyone's been ran off the cliff, so that soon very quickly becomes 6 minutes flat.
That was just really weird, because I think RCK didn't expect his boosters to run out so soon, so just find himself falling to his doom very quickly. Well, Titans have now got themselves into their spots they want to be in, trying to go for this defense. High ground looks to be the option for Gigantti. We see a lot of fights down here in this right corridor. Problem being, of course, it's very, very tight, and Erky has got the blade, Onigod has got the pulse bomb. Everything is in their favor right now. If they lose this fight, it's a travesty.
It looks like the ult economies have switched over here. We usually expect Gigantti to be sitting on multiple ultimates, but this time it's Angry Titans. Erky with a Dragon Blade immediately goes down onto the back line. Doesn't find Marsa, but will find Ripper instead.
It's really weird to commit Blade and the Nano Boost there, because realistically, if you're going onto a Zen, he is going to die as soon as you arrive. The only thing they've got to cover him is a Lucio. That's not going to be enough healing to keep him alive through 2 slashes of the Blade. Instead, they burnt 2 ults, traded 1-on-1. Bit of a waste overall net, you would say, for Angry Titans.
The big defense from the Lucio, of course, is the boop, and he used it to save himself. And then he sees an isolated Zenyatta. He's like, right, no one's going to stop me now. I'm going in there myself. RCK goes up onto the high ground. They're using the Amped up to move everyone around. Transcendence on the stairwell to keep everyone sustained. RCK sitting on that self-destruct. as Nil, very low HP, a little bit of sustain, but not enough. Luddy, Elivo, they're the ones getting the kills at the moment, still being held by Angry Titans. I believe we see people dashing across the screen as David, with that pulse bomb, going to have to back out with the rest of Gigantti because they know they've lost this push yet again.
Yet again, as you say, push lost, but lots of ultimates expended by Angry Titans. Gigantti are trying to hold on to as many of them as they can per fight. Nil switching over to the Soldier. We've seen him do great work, especially on things like Hollywood. When he sits inside Cafe, he's had some brilliant performances. Let's see if he can replicate the same thing on Hanamura.
Transcendence knocked off the edge. That might actually be big for the side of Angry Titans, knowing that they won't have to deal with the Transcendence because there's a lot of relocation time required. But Nil still holding that high ground. There was a nano boost being used. Not sure who it was onto. Urki cut through Massa in the meantime. Self-destruct. Got up into the air. Here's the Dragon Blade. Urki was the recipient on the nano boost, and he's got an absolute field day with his sword to cut through everyone. Oh. Nil finally with the rifle, butt to the back of the head, shuts him down, and they're going to start trying to get progress on this point, but the respawn advantage definitely in favor of Angry Titans on point B, Hanamura.
Tanked out by A-Fox as he ran away there. 2 kills for the Zenyatta, and only Gobble chip in and bring down Davin as well. Gigantti, even with those ultimates and everything they're trying to do, not really paying off in their favor. Even when we can see Luddy burning that nano boost onto Urki, in situations where I don't think it's strictly necessary, they're still making it work. They're still getting results, and Gigantti are being stalled out more and more. They've got 3.5 minutes to play with. They're looking towards Nil's ultimate, I think, to come up before they take the high ground and go for the ult.
They've done a fantastic job of stalling out this 6-minute time bake. Ripper finds Luddy. Lolsish takes out Nil, and now they're all scattered around the fight. They can't quite get it together. You see that there's a nice little tracking in the PMP. Only God right at the back, just trying to stall out, but he needs to be with his team. He's having a duel at the moment with Davin. No kill being taken, but Ripper takes out A-Fox. Elivo onto LH Cloudy, Massa, and the other support up on the top line. Ripper still holding that high ground, but they've got no one with him. They would be so vulnerable for Urki to just go in and kill them right now, and I think he was fishing around for it, but didn't want to commit because he wasn't certain where the rest of the team were.
And look at the ult coming through for Gigantti. 5 ultimates on side into almost the 5 coming through from Angry Titans. This is looking towards Elivote to get that final one up. These are always the big fights that we live for, the big scrap where loads of ults get burnt out very quickly and one team walks away when the dust settles.
Well, only got already used his pulse. Pulse bomb. There's the tack visor. He's got no angle at the moment. He's only going to be able to pick away at Lolsish, who's in his face. David finds Luddy, a double self-destruct onto the DPS of Angry Titans as Lolsish bashes around Nil, shuts him down. Elivote onto Cloudy. Here's a Transcendence from Ripper onto the point. Self-destruct is there. That's going to burn through any Transcendence you've got. You have to retreat. RTK immediately dives back into Elivote, popping the defense matrix, try and get himself alive a little bit longer. Urki using blades very liberally to try and cut through everyone, but he doesn't need to get anything more from that because only God is there with the reinforcements on Tracer.
He's at least getting something with every blade that he's throwing out. Again, not always sold fully on the nano boost when it comes through, but a couple of times he has used it. He's got himself a couple of kills. He's delayed Gigantti. Seconds and even 10 seconds when you're staggering someone away, that can be crucial in this. Those staggers can add up to be a minute and a half. You're looking at potentially 2 or 3 pushes there that you eliminate just by staggering someone out with the odd kill coming out of a Genji. And he farms this all up pretty quick. He's had a good 4 or 5 ults so far while they've been on the defense. The question is he going to have it available when it matters most?
Remains to be seen. 70% on Nil at the moment. He's going to get that tank by very soon. Urki deflecting, knows he has to dash away, hasn't got the angle. Davin takes Lolsish out of the sky as Elivote dives to the back. No more tanks for them as Nil gets the D-Mech and Cloudy's going to finish off the kill. This is Team Gigantti's to win at the moment. They just need to get bodies on the point. They're doing just that, nearly onto 2/3. There's the tack visor. Going to have to hide away. The Transcendence is there to keep everyone alive. Cloudy will go down to Urki while he's sitting in that Transcendence. The nano boost comes out a little bit too late and he jumps off the point, having to reposition. Only God, A-Fox, they're getting kills. They've dived onto the backline. Massa, Lucio just by himself. And now Ripper, he's isolated. They could stall it out even longer. Valiant push by Gigantti. Not enough to beat the Titans.
Like what I'm seeing out of Urki today. Farah, we had some questions around it earlier on saying, yep, couple of good moments. Is it consistent? It did turn out to be that way. And it's saying the same thing is happening once again on this Genji. Now, Gigantti, we've always coined as one of these big teams. Nil, we see him pick it out a couple of times himself and make it work, but Urki is doing work for his team. We said how fast he was charging these ults. He had it about 25 seconds, I think, after the first case, just being given free reign on the enemy tanks to charge that up. Now he's got it available again, and quite smartly this time round, he's held onto it for this final fight. Here we go.
Dragon Blade straight into the Transcendence, has to back off, so nice reaction from Ripper to keep everyone alive. they will stay in that range until that blade is gone or the Transcendence falls. Here comes the Self-Destruct, going to try and separate them together after they played so condensed. And Self-Destruct of their own, inside the bubble. Nice placement from LOLSish to keep everyone alive, but he'll lose his life to Davin. Only God with the pulse onto Master, then onto Cloudy as he tries to retreat. Now Luddy takes out Davin on his own. Fox and Ripper, they're trading, and nobody was on the point. Angry Titans keep Team Gigantti at 1 point.
When the kill feed turns blue, chances are there won't be many bodies left around to step on the point, unfortunately. So Gigantti, I think they'll be somewhat happy with that, knowing they've got at least 2/3 of the way through. It means they have room to play with when it comes to their defense on this second point. But now, as is always the way, we're going to swip it around, see what Angry Titans can do. Very curious to see what they roll here, because let's not forget, Quad Tank was their thing on this map last week. They swept around to the left-hand side, pushed straight onto point, and commanded it immediately.
Team Gigantti opting to run for the triple tank with that Junkrat. So
nice.
Maybe that is the solution they're pulling out to the quad tank of Angry Titans. But is it best quad tank EU? It should be able to beat whatever Gigantti throw at it. It should be unbeatable if it's best quad tank. Will they stick with it? We'll find out in a couple of seconds. But Gigantti, we know they're running triple tank with that Junkrat, and we've seen how effective it can be in the past.
This is where I'm going to have some worries, because we mentioned this earlier on. I think it was when they were playing in their second map. We said that realistically we haven't seen any Pharah players coming out of Gigantti. Junkrat is a fine solution into a heavy tank lineup. Lots of damage, lots of disengage, lots of disruption. That's what makes him strong. Problem is, he is pretty much always going to be at ground level. If they get on top of you with the Lucio, that's why you take one in response on the defensive side. If he goes down, they're essentially missing out on that fourth tank that could be equally trading blows back and forth. Angry Titans may still opt to take something of their own to disrupt this into more of a 3-tank setup with 1 key DPS to match what Gigantti are doing. But like you say, they swear so much by their quad tank, why not stick with it?
They just don't have the information. They don't know what Gigantti's going to run at them. They can prepare and make an educated guess, but until they get there, they don't know entirely. So Gigantti going to hold pretty far back at the moment, not opting to go for the gate. They know if a quad tank's coming at them, holding the gate is an impossible feat to master. They will just get run over. And so, game's going to begin. Quad tank coming out from Angry Titans this time around, so the Slambulance is in full effect.
Very curious to see how they make this one work then. Urki especially picking up the Roadhog. A lot of DPS players are known for this, but it's going to turn into a massive fiesta while everyone piles in. Yeah, Charge is coming out. Master's the first casualty in that Slambulance. They're not going to take him to the hospital, though. They're taking him straight to the morgue. Davin gets the D-Mech onto Elivote. So Gigantti fighting back. They're not being rolled over just yet. Nil's being kept very safe with the supports behind that shield. Needs to get more of those grenades out. He's building up an ultimate so close to that Riptire, but he needs to get more pressure. Here we go, Riptire immediately comes out. A-Fox has already found 2 kills, so this might be a difference maker as it comes in. No one to be found with that Riptire. It's only God and A-Fox. They're shutting down the rest of Team Gigantti. The Slambulance has no brakes. The worst part is this as well. Look at their ult charges. Angry Titans are going to almost have 5, maybe 6 if Ellie can get that charge up nice and early to push onto the next point. Davin is still sat at half, so they do not have the brakes proverbially. That Graviton Surge does a great job of stalling this out, even if for a few seconds, just to get Nil some free reign down and get his ultimate up nice and quickly. It's about a 25% difference in the ult charges between the 2 Zaryas of Onigod and Davin. So I know which one's going to get there first. That one Graviton might be enough to just win the round. Davin might not even get a Graviton out. They're going to go top right. They're running straight into the Junkrat. Free ult charge being used. Nice block from Cloudy. Shuts down the Earth Shatter. They're sending the self-destruct into the back. Only finds A-Fox, and they're missing one of their supports. Sound Barrier was used as well. So someone's on the point at the moment. I believe they've been forced off. It's actually Luddy by himself after dropping the Sound Barrier. There comes the self-destruct to buy him some respite. Here comes the Graviton Surge from David. He was the one who used it first. He's pulled the rest of Angry Titans together. Not been able to capitalize on it just yet. Cloudy takes out Onigod. Urki with that whole hog going to get the D-Mech, but Davin and Nil, they're coming back for kills. Nil finds a second onto Luddy. No more healing, so it's just a van on wheels at this point. Good idea to switch over here and just completely bail. I think Elivote knew that that fight was long done, essentially. In fact, I think he managed to keep himself alive with a return kill at the very end. So he can back away now. It's more ult charge coming through for A-Fox and Luddy if they want it on their side. They held onto the Zarya ult. I'm not sure why they opted not to use it towards the end of that fight when they could have picked up some kills, but they know that Davins is now down and out. If they engage with this and manage to get a big catch onto Gigantti, my number one concern is they don't really have a Holt on the follow down. There's no big ult combos they can fire out. Let's see what happens though with Nil's ult here. Riptire trying to find an angle. Well, both supports are gone, so that quad tank's not really going to be doing much for the next couple of seconds. You can see it all here. They're just going to jump off the edge. They don't want to feed the ult charge. They know there's nothing they can do with no supports. Absolutely. Good choice to reset them from Angry Titans. They still got 5.5 minutes to play with. admittedly have yet to get a checkpoint. And we said that would be the saving grace for Gigantti. If they can just hold the point down and prevent any of those check marks going over, they may have a good shot of being able to stall Angry Titans out.
So close to getting that coalescence. Doesn't matter how big your shield is, that's just going to run straight through it anyway. And Davin, he might get a second Graviton Surge before we see Only God use his, because they've not got nothing to combo it with just yet. Lolsish about to get an Earth Shatter. Will Cloudy be the saving grace and block it, then return fire with his own, because he's sitting on it himself. Sound barrier from Master, as we'd expect. And now they're just going to force through that high ground position that was actually held by Gigantti, and they're going to take it for themselves.
So they can make it work. Trying to hold towards the high ground, pushing on the left, just trying to find the right angle to push in here. Opts in towards the low ground. Got to try and get this Graviton Surge past Cloudy into the back line. They've got to be aware of the Diva as well. Here they go.
Well, there's Coalescence. They're being traded. They're trying to force this forward. Riptide coming out yet again. Eaten by the enemy team, and Nil picks up a triple with the Riptide. They were waiting so long for that play, and it just went sideways.
Only God, I think Poco would like to have a word, so you guys can spend a few moments wiping each other's tears away. Too much hassle having these eaten away.
Hey, we don't talk about Kings Row, right? We don't talk about Kings Row.
What Kings Row?
What Kings Row? Didn't happen.
Exactly.
Didn't fire an ultimate 20 meters downrange. It's fine.
Didn't have 4 ults eaten in one game.
Feels bad.
Well, my worry now is that if they're going to stick by this comp, that was their big combo they were looking for, and they're a little bit out of sync now. They've got 3 ultimates to play with again. At what point do you say, right, time to change? We want to win this right here. We want to close this series out right here, right now, and don't worry about a 4th map.
Well, they're amping it up straight onto the point. Sound barrier in the pocket of Luddy. There's Graviton Surge. You're going to have to keep everyone alive. Where's the shield? Charge out to expose them to the self-destruct. Only God is the only victim of that display in the Cataclysm. But Team Gigantti onto the point still. They're holding it out. RCK with a double. Nil, the consistent damage dealer, shutting down supports, but the tanks are jumping into the fray as well. They have basically team-killed Angry Titans yet again.
God, I hate to say it, but I need to see the Titans switching things up here. I've been saying about Gigantti all day. It's only fair to be able to return. The one thing they did get from that very initial rush was the first check mark, so at least they're halfway there. If they can do that again and maybe hold out for Davin not having the Graviton Surge, things can work out for them. But now you've got to be aware of Cloudy's ult. You've got to be aware again of that Riptide. Nil is consistently getting triple kills because tanks play so close together.
Well, here you go. You heard it now. Riptide coming in. There was an Earth Shatter. Not sure how effective it was. We're on board with the Riptide. Finds a nice angle onto Lolsish, but that's about it. Gets the D-Mech on Elivo. That could shut down Angry Titans. They're missing 2 key components of their quad tank composition. Avox with the Coalescence might be able to find Ripper before he can get some sustain out of his zone. They are so close to getting the victory. Multiple bodies on the point. Only God gets the kill onto Ripper. Here come the reinforcements. Self-destruct goes into the air. Everyone needs to scatter. Nobody falls down to that one just yet as Elivo gets into the face of Davin. Without those personal shields, he's down. Cloudy comes in swinging, but he's by himself at the moment. He's only got Master to keep him alive. He is keeping him alive with that shield.
Purple.
Biotic Grenade going to shut down the healing, but I don't know if that's what they need right now. Urki gets into the face of LH Cloudy, gats him down with the scrap gun, and now here's a Tracer to come out to stall. They're mixing it up to just throw bodies out there, try and get some semblance of control. Davin
Second
can't get
point,
on.
they've done it!
No one's on the point, so guess what? Angry Titans 3-0 Gigantti and pick up their first series win of Contenders.
And what a team to do it against as well. The last bastion of hope for the top teams fall in spectacular fashion. Angry Titans, gotta say, stuck by the strat, and I was worried for a while. They were committing a bit too hard for going for the quad tank strat, but eventually the right combo of ults were online, everything fell into place, and they closed the map out. So really well played by those guys today.
Did you ever doubt best quad tank EU?
It's now a meme, right? We've said it enough times, and now it's actually turned to be true that, well, we're stuck with it for now.
So we know the series winner anyway. We know it's Angry Titans, so they've got that first winner Contenders. Congratulations to them. We got one more map to play. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. Back to Overwatch Contenders Europe. Angry Titans have picked up their first series win of the season against none other than Team Gigantti. We play out all 4 maps here, so we're going to see if we can get a map win for Gigantti today and hopefully salvage some of their, what has been a very impressive record prior to today.
Prior to today, the key phrase there, I think. Today hasn't looked super hot for them, to be fair. Just very, very static in their comps. A few things not clicking into place that we've seen previously. We can't say they've played terribly because at points they've looked okay. Like first point I remember when we played Ilios at the start of the day, they looked okay. Aside from that, though, it's kind of slowly gone downhill. Either that or we've just seen Angry Titans step up and out of nothing, they're going to choose Junkertown, and that's the go-to map for Gigantti.
Do you know who kind of likes playing Bastion on the side of Angry Titans?
Only got the boy.
I don't know if this was the best decision for you guys, because I feel like that's what's going to come out from the side of Angry Titans into this matchup.
Let's not forget, though, as well, Gigantti actually turned around and played that setup with the pirate ship on Dorado last time they played. Clearly thinking here, well, let's try the same thing on Junkertown if it goes to that point, because I imagine when they had to hand in their map selection, all maps are pre-selected, they probably turned around and thought, realistically, it was going to be their map pick because they thought this might be a bit of a walk in the park for them. Clearly, not the case. Angry Titans taking the series away already. Now the real question is, can they end out this crazy day with a 4-0 and basically see every single series today going 4-0 the way of the teams we did not expect to win?
Well, Junkertown, pirate ships, I'm liking the sound of this because I think both teams are going to end up running it. And what a way to end today. We had 3 consecutive 4-0s. The dream. But it's gone completely the other way. It's thrown what we thought was a very cut and dry group into disarray. I feel like all of a sudden Group A is feeling a little bit like Group B.
It's all a little bit crazy, and to be fair, we all looked at Group B and thought, oh, this is the group we're not going to see as many great teams. We came into it and looked at the seeding and thought, well, Group A looks more stacked. In reality, Week 1, Group B by far and away blew us away with some really impressive stuff. And this week has just said, well, let's turn the whole group upside down. The table no longer makes sense. Both groups are anyone's for the taking. And top 8 when it comes in a few weeks, going to be insane.
Well, like I said, this was only day 1 of Super Week. We have 3 more days of this. And Group A, they're going to play again and do this all over again with different opponents on Sunday, I believe. No, Monday. Monday is Group A. It's going to be Group B on Sunday. So they have a slightly more prep time than Group B, I should say, just because of the way the schedule's worked out. But still, it's not on many days to try and rectify any issues that may have become apparent today.
Very apparent today for some of these big teams. A lot of things they've got to work on. Look back at these VODs, and again, they had 10 days between, well, not 10 days, I think it was more like 8 between the previous set of days and the games that happened today. For a lot of them, that must have been some time to improve and look at things. Clearly, the teams who have won out today are the ones who looked at it, prepared for these games incredibly well, and have said, right, we've got these guys figured out now. We know exactly what we're doing. So it gives a lot of hope to the smaller teams, I think. I say smaller teams, the teams that maybe are unsigned or don't have the big names in them that we've come to expect from a lot of them. It's the opportunity for those guys in future weeks to go, this team took 4-0 from these guys last week. We can do exactly the same this week. And that's the kind of stuff we love to see.
Also, you got to remember, maybe it's instilling a bit of fear. You come into this and people put certain teams on a pedestal, and all of a sudden, oh, Jesus, those guys, they 4-0'd them. What are we going to do against them, you know? And maybe that's going to put the fear into some of the players. But when it's consistently happening, people also meme about it. And they're just like, well, it's just the day of chokes. It's the day of throws. It's the day where everything goes upside down and maybe don't take it as seriously as they should do. But Group A has been certainly spiced up today.
You're speaking about putting the fear into the players, the fear of God or only God. I'd love to see him pull out the bash. We mentioned it a second ago, both of these teams likely to go for that kind of pirate ship setup. The real question for me as well is whether or not we see any Widows coming out. Because let's not forget the game we saw earlier today where we had 1 support on Orisa, a Bastion, 2 snipers, and I think they had a tank on the front line or something along with it as well. It was insanity either way. So let's see what the 2 teams go with. We're going to get into it. I'm excited to see how this series ends. If it goes 4-0, this will be the day we all look back on and go, that is when Group A got proverbially turned upside down and everything changed.
So what I'm going to do, after today's game, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the thesaurus and I'm going to find the word excited. And I'm going to start writing down synonyms for it. Because everyone seems to be excited today. Where's the ecstatic? Where is the... I can't even think of words now. I'm falling into the trap as well.
Ecstatic for me was probably Week 1 Bazooka Puppies versus Mosaic, because that was the big surprise. But today, it's all about these two. I want to see what defenses they go with. Are they going to go for a full hold or something crazy? Looks like they're going with the Orisa more for the point hold than anything else. Cloudy opting to go with that over the Rhine. Not surprised, you will generally always see a shield support coming to run the first point. Especially when you get between the 2 buildings, it's just so useful to have something to block off that entryway.
Well, they got Alex Cloudy on Orisa. Nil onto the Junkrat yet again. They're all having a little bit of a ring around the Torbjorn turret. Don't expect they're going to be running this at all. Usually they spend their time... Oh, they've already destroyed the bike.
There you go. Is this what you think teams do to kind of get more coordination and synergy between themselves?
Speaking of coordination and synergy in spawn rooms, did you see the clip from Contenders Australia where their Lucio was leading them in a dance routine of Cha-Cha Slide for his voice comms?
Oh, really? Oh,
yes.
I did see it on Reddit.
That.
I saw it on the front page. It was incredible.
Fantastic. So maybe they're trying to do a light version of that with just a little bit of turret rotation. You know, it's very British to have like the maypole.
Yeah, it is. Ring around the roses, a pocket full of poses and all that. One thing this game's definitely full of, though, is explosive potential. Nothing too crazy coming out of Angry Titans on their first attack, though. It's all pretty standard. You may be looking at Urki here, popping off so far today. Can he do it on the Widow now and kind of bring himself into that sphere of top DPS players that we keep on speaking about for weeks to come?
Well, the top DPS have been able to pull out that Widowmaker. There's slow progress being made. Only God already shutting down Davin. So no Widowmaker on the side of Gigantti. And they're going to use this window to come in. Marsa gets the resurrection, brings him back into the fold. But Urki has used this time to find the better angle on the sniper. Nil shuts down Lolsish. Afox gets a kill onto LH Cloudy. Being tagged a couple of times by Ripper. Gets a tag of his own in, can't land the shot just
Ripper,
yet.
stop.
But the 1v1 Ripper on the Zenyatta shutting down Urki. And now Elivote going to roll over the payload. Get tagged by the Widowmaker. Tagged again, but not really chunking out this heavy mech. As Luddy takes out Ripper, and they know exactly where the Widowmaker is going to be. So they're just keeping their eyes up there, making sure if she comes, they go straight up there and shut her down.
Ripper ripping heads, what can we say? Not the strongest start, you might say, for Urki, but his team definitely steps up. The dive they pulled through, very risky initially because the supports couldn't really follow up and keep Lucius and Elivote alive. They still managed to make it work, though. The shields and, of course, the defense matrix coming out blocked a lot of the damage, gave the supports time to catch up, and they managed to gain a huge amount of ground very, very quickly.
They're still sticking on to this Widowmaker, so Davin going to be trying to take those shots, close to getting the infrared vision. Pulse Bomb, going to clear out that mech from RCK. Here comes a Winston to dislodge any setup they had. Poor grapple hook from Davin. Going to fall down, but he does get the kill onto Lolsish. Neil finds Afox while this is going on. Davin being charged down yet again.
Still alive
by
as well.
Elivote, but now he's going to get D-Mech, still using the grapple hook, a little bit more successful. Here's the stall coming out. Elivote being kept on a fraction of health. But he actually took out Davin while he was in mech form. They let that Elivote live, and he takes out Davin. Whoops. Yeah, that's a big whoops coming out.
The thing is the stagger, and then there's actually letting the stagger be useful.
Well, that stagger was very useful because they're taking down one of the core assets of their team. But Davin going to switch over to that Tracer now. He's not feeling that confident on the Widowmaker. So he's going to allow himself to switch it up, go against Only God in this Tracer duel. Now Urki off to the side. Elivote sitting on that self-destruct sequence. Going to plant it up high at the moment. Get in the face of the supports, but they're sitting in a Transcendence. There's not much he can do about that for now. But Marsa, now he's isolated. Elivote goes straight in. Oh no, the support of Ripper. He's trapped as well, so both supports down. Angry Titans, this payload hasn't really stopped or been slowed down at all by Team Gigantti.
A couple of times where it's been halted for a few seconds like now, but nothing massive. Like you said, they just keep on pushing. With 4 minutes on the clock, they're looking pretty set to get this towards the end of stage 2. Now, I'm concerned for Gigantti once again. Changing things up, Davin, his Widowmaker, wasn't super solid. Going back to that tried and tested Tracer. The problem with him, and we keep saying week after week, we want to see this guy play more and show us what he's made of. As of yet, we're not seeing that.
Well, Self-Destruct finds Cloudy, his bubble dissipated just in time, and Nil's got a Dragon Blade, try and cut through, bring back some control, takes out one support, finds the second, deflects onto the mech and gets that kill onto it. Davin gonna help him out with that one as well, but Team Gigantti finally getting a clear and controlled hold over this point.
Finally, all it requires is nil on the Genji. Spoke about it earlier on, didn't really see that too much from his Genji. We've been saying in previous weeks, we saw it a couple of times. Actually recall on Hanamura, which is the last map we saw, he played very well on that in previous weeks, but this week, not so much. Gigantti finally getting their first fight won of this map though. 4 ults on side, got some good stall tactics coming through they can employ, and Ripper isn't too far away from that Transcendence. That will be a big asset to them if they can get it up before they get wiped. So Angry Titans ult, aren't looking too good right now.
Well, Elivote going to be holding that defensive matrix up. Here comes Primal Rage from Cloudy. Going to bounce everyone around, but he's already less than a third HP. So he's going to get grinded down. Hopefully some sustain comes out very quickly for him, but only slowly at the moment. I think the Amp It Up was just used to heal him up on that back line with the support, so hopefully in safety. But Elivote jumps in, gets the reinforcements from Cloudy straight away. They want to keep this back line alive. Transcendence traded, but Gigantti will have it just that bit longer because they used it afterwards. Self-destruct goes into the air. Cloudy still finds a Fox. Urki answers with a kill onto Ripper, so no Zenyatta's on the field, but they've done what they need to already with those Transcendences. still in control of Gigantti at the moment as Nil finds Erky and Onigodi 2v1s the DPS with a little bit of help from his Zenyatta.
Looking a lot better for Gigantti, starting to get some of that organization back that we saw in previous weeks. Titans flailing a little bit though, got to say that will contribute to, I suppose, making Gigantti at least look good. Problem is with these ults, they've been holding on to them for a while now. Erky has had this blade for a good minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, same for Lulsish. Onigod's just got his, they're waiting for more to come online before they really go for the big push. Well,
they go pop outside that corridor. Elivote again, looking to find something safely. Doesn't want to give up his mech just yet. Onigod with the pulse bomb to Cloudy. Here comes the Dragon Blade. It's Nil, and it's answered by Erky. So Nil finds 1 kill. No kills coming out from Erky just yet. The sound barrier makes it a little bit harder and unfair for him. But Elivote finally shuts down Nil, and Erky having to retreat somewhere he really doesn't want to go.
A minute left on the clock, and Gigantti constantly pushing back Titans, but now most of the ults offline. You're looking mainly at RCKs here to beat any kind of storm. With Ripper going down just before his ult comes online, if he doesn't get back here quickly enough, they might find themselves in a spot of bother.
I used to be okay, but now I'm RCK. So, will he be able to use that self-destruct effectively and shut down Angry Titans? Needs to find a good angle, and you can see he's trying to sneak around at the moment, play around the terrain, keep himself hidden, because they're very stalemated on this point. Ripper finds a Fox somewhere on the map, and we can see they're already being pushed back by Team Gigantti yet again, so no need to blow ultimates. They've already won this push. Davin finding the 2nd kill onto Onigod. 30 seconds remaining, and Angry Titans have been halted at the end of this stage.
I think Onigod realised he's being held for a bit of a bait there. They were just waiting to clean him up when time would have suited them best. So around about now, he would have been killed. Unable to bring down any of the backline on his own. They've got one final chance of pushing this. It looked good for Angry Titans to start with, but they have barely got their way through stage 2.
Well, here we go, 5 seconds on the clock. This is do or die for Angry Titans on their offensive push. Lulsish gets booped back straight away. Self-destruct goes into the air. Primal Rage keeping everyone alive. Only finds Erky, so one of the DPS missing for Angry Titans. Still got 2 on the side of Gigantti. They're pushing through, but Lulsish's Primal Rage, sorry, LH Cloudy's Primal Rage is about to expire. Davin finds Lulsish, and it's Cloudy onto A-Fox. Another self-destruct went into the air, no one to be found. They're running over the point. Here comes the Dragon Blade, it's Nil, hopefully coming in onto the mech. Will D-Mech. Elivote did not shut him down because they ran out of time.
Impressive stuff by Gigantti to hold that point for so long, considering they've looked a little bit floundered today and a bit lost. This is more of what we expect to see from a team of their caliber. Now, Angry Titans are the ones going on to defense. Do we see the full pirate ship setup coming through from Team Gigantti, or do we see of what we just saw out of Angry Titans, which is playing relatively sensibly?
Hard to say at the moment. I'll give it a little bit of time. Maybe they don't even know themselves. You're going to take this time to discuss and see what they actually want to run into this, though. Angry Titans have less of that time because they've got to go get set up and figure out what defense they're going to use. At the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if they ran the ball and chain. They ran that Orisa with the Roadhog, and they take Erky onto that Junkrat. Team Gigantti, more question marks over them. I believe Onigod may run triple tank here and opt to go for the Junkrat again with that system.
I think only looking towards potentially the Genji as well, because you know what Gigantti did last time around they played in Dorado. You're looking towards something potentially to try and interrupt that Bastion, who's going to sit on the point and do what Bastion does best, which is hold down left mouse button.
Well, it's easy to do as Bastion. You just get yourself set up in tank form, you have everything played around you, so you can just spray and pray the day away. And Angry Titans, Onigod, going to be on that Widowmaker, so hopefully going to be looking for the pick, find the perfect angle. That crack in the armor, shall we say, they're going to set up around the Bastion if they choose to run it. If not, then you can get some decent picks with the Widowmaker anyway. We've seen Widowmakers reign supreme from OWL to Contenders on Junkertown.
Thread the needle, so to speak, between this double shield setup that we're likely going to see Gigantti employed, done it previously on Dorado, as we said a few times. Expect to see it come out again here. They haven't got to push too far, which is the most important thing to remember, I think. A couple like halfway through stage 2, and they find themselves at the win. You like this double setup though, Tridd?
The traps on the door seem to be a little bit obvious. I think they're going to be shut down straight away. If someone dies to that, I seriously have doubts about their Overwatch League potential. But they're just going to let Cloudy go first. He's going to tank up that trap and the gas. But it's delayed them getting set up. They're not going to run for the Bastion though. They put Neil onto the Genji, so no pirate ship today.
Isn't that a shame? Set up to know again with the shield base. Always good to have at least one shield here. They could have potentially gone full divers. They're the ones who are here are trying to aggress onto the Angry Titan setup, but they're quite happy with what they've got. The grab lands onto LH Cloudy.
LH Cloudy pulled in, will retreat and get that healing up from Moira. So potent and close range, so will not go down just yet. They're holding around the corner, and they're using that Orisa shield effectively to keep themselves from damage. And Only God looking for the flank. He's alerted his team that that's coming in. Needs to get a fast response onto him. Misses the grapple, so it really does pressure him to react fast. Takes a shot in the air, finds Master. Nil onto Afox, so support's been traded at the moment. Urki onto Cloudy. Here's the Coalescence already from Ripper as Elivo pulls Davin in to get taken out with the shrapnel. Still, Angry Titans appear to be in control as of yet, but Urki needs some healing. Nil, he saw that and he dives straight in for the kill. Usually it's the Genji who cries for that. Another kill for Nil on this Genji. He's got a Dragon Blade ready to go when everything hits the fan again.
Maybe one more fight before they get to that point. Davin looking to get in that pulse bomb on side as well. There's 3 ults on the side of Angry Titans, so they have the capability to delay this push. Question is they delay it here or when they get thrown to the second point. Here, of course, makes a lot more sense.
There's a Riptire somewhere. Where is it going? Straight onto Nil, so they're going to shut him down. No blade for this fight. Angry Titans should be able to get a foothold here, knowing that they have that advantage. But Gigantti, they're coming up fast with the Amp It Up. Going to get into the face. Here comes Lolsish, taken out. No one was there to support him. Where were the DPS keeping their tanks safe? Because they've just got ran over by the Amp It Up as Davin finds another kill. Luddy's going to bring Lolsish back into the fray. Urki has a very nice position to be able to just decimate these tanks. And Only God still uncontested, but Davin figured out where he is. He's going from behind. He's been pocketed by the Mercy to keep him alive. But Nil, he's got the Dragon Blade. They want to take out the Widowmaker first. Get into the face with a dash. Slice through him. Looking for the Zenyatta. Slice. Dash. This is the combo he's running with at the moment. Into the air. Going to try and take out Orisa as well. But she went golden. Using that Fortify. Gives him the extra resistances. Keeps it all alive. Nil trying to find Luddy at the moment. Just can't get the dash. Where is the confined space? There we go. Dashes through. Dies to Urki, but takes him out with him as well.
But the fight is still going on here as well. Titans just will not be moved from this point. They keep on coming back and holding down, and Lulsish, Orisa isn't the most mobile in the world. You will eventually get dropped when the damage is consistent enough, and it finally looks like Gigantti have got this one.
They've broken the entrenchment of Angry Titans. They're going to push on to a further stage. They don't even need to complete this stage of the map because it's something that something that Gigantti couldn't, well, Gigantti was successfully able to hold them on.
Third time lucky.
Third time lucky. Hopefully we went to a fourth, you would have cut in and stopped me. But
yeah, I would have, mate. I've been like, it's okay, mate. You can take a rest
You
now.
tried.
However, Gigantti will not be taking a rest. They've got 3 ultimates on side to go for this push with, and as you say, only about half of the point to push through here. Imagine if Only God had got that deflect down, or Only God had been deflected onto there and lost his head.
There's a Riptire somewhere. You can see it in the pip. Where's it going?
Behind.
Onto the back line. They've spotted it out. He finds Neil again. I feel like Urki has a death wish onto Nil. He just wants to keep taking him out, and it's a vendetta that seems personal at this point.
I don't really blame him because he's been performing pretty well today. And Urki on the Genji, looking at Nil, saying, I wish I could be you right now, but I'm not, therefore I'll resort to killing you instead. That
seems fair. Jealousy often breeds that kind of behavior. But Lolsish, going to be pushed back. Coalescence grinding through the shield. Self-destruct goes up high. No kills to be found, but Elivo did find Davin in that time. Cloudy with the shatter. Don't believe he hit anyone with that because it was blocked nicely by Lolsish. But Nil nearly got that Dragon Blade. He's on the back line already. He's behind Lolsish, already pestering him like the annoying fly. Has to dash through that hammer, but Only God's found 2. He's gone back onto the Widowmaker. He's going to stay on it anyway and find these picks despite already losing the stage. Now Davin and Nil get in his face and tell him what for.
The deep dive comes all the way through and managed to shut him out. So the double DPS actually calling all the way back to the support line to bring down the sniper who was behind them. They have ultimates available, almost. Another 3 almost online for them to play with. On the other side of Angry Titans, though, the same story for them. They've nearly got 4 to play with. If they can hold out here for a solid 2 minutes, Angry Titans walk away with the 4-0.
2 minutes, though. It's a bit of a tall order for the distance they actually need to travel, so I don't know we're going to see a 4-0 necessarily, but the ultimates in the favor of Angry Titans say they're going to be able to stall it out just a little bit longer at least. Here's the sound barrier. They amp it up to keep it up. Immediately, Nil's been pinned. Needs to find a way to create some space to use that Dragon Blade, but they're still on the payload. They're still good at moving. Angry Titans have been full retreat. They use the Earth Shatter. The Riptide comes out for good measure. Nil dashes through. Can't dodge out of all the damage as RCK and Davin get a kill of their own. Urki with the double on the Riptire and the Resurrection to bring Lolsish in. So, that's another push delayed by Angry Titans. 1 minute 30 in the time bank.
I was a bit worried when I saw Afox go down when his ultimate was still online. Not having that Transcendence active when they're pushing in like that, that's normally the big go sign for Afox. One thing I noticed just before that fight kicked off though, Afox is basically sat back above the end of the second point, just sat there safely because they know the dive is going to come onto the high ground where the rest of the team is, meaning Zen is completely safe. If he needs to drop onto the point with the Transcendence to stall out, he can. Otherwise, it's free discourse, it's free range, and basically, once the dive comes into the high ground, he's got a free firing point from his back corner.
1 minute left on the clock, 60 seconds remaining. Contested on the payload at the moment. There's the Valkyrie being popped by Luddy. Neil having some difficulty finding a good angle. He's got the blade available, but he needs to cut through Lulsish first. He gets pinned. Why did you stay that close and get taken out by the Titans? Another shutdown for Angry Titans, 40 seconds remaining.
It looked like an impressive hold for Gigantti, but Titans are about to one-up that and do even better. Literally about 15, 20 meters remaining here to push through. Gigantti just cannot move Angry Titans off this high ground.
They keep trying, they keep throwing the resources. They have 4, nearly 5 ultimates in their pocket, and Angry Titans, they're going to start getting them back very quickly as well. You're looking at the self-destruct, the Riptire, the Pulse Bomb, and Lulsish, once that hammer starts swinging, he could probably get an Earth Shatter up depending on how long this fight goes. So Gigantti, they've got to be very efficient with what they use here. You can hear the Riptire coming out already. Explosives cut through the Transcendence. Davin goes down. It's answered by a bomb of their own on RCK. Luddy and Urki go. Only God finds RCK, but Angry Titans, they're the ones on the payload at the moment. Massar trying to move it. He's going to have to tank these micro missiles. And Lulsish comes from the backside with the hammer. Gigantti couldn't complete. Angry Titans complete the 4-0 dream and unify everything on the scoreboard today.
Genuinely speechless at how the results today have gone. 4-0 for the teams. Basically everyone, not everyone has said it. The teams themselves probably thought they had a chance. We expected every single team today that won to lose. And they've all 4-0'd their opposition. This blows Group A completely wide open. I can't wait to see what the guys in the desk say either, to be fair.
Well, it's a 5-week group stage, effectively. We're on the exact midpoint of that now that we completed it, especially for Group A. And everything has been thrown on its head. Unexpected results come in, and we've got 2 more weeks of action to go. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's see what the analysts think about this tremendous 4-game series.